Hello and welcome everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about my theory on who the ancient gods might be. Remember, everything said in this video is pure conjecture and may not be true, or I could just be completely wrong and there's no point to this video. Anyways, without further delay, let's begin. So before I get into who I think the ancient gods might be, I feel I need to mention the one location in the story that is common between all three factions: the Doomslayer, the Makers, and the Sentinels. And that one location is Argent D'Nur. Now that context is important, because when the Seraphim says ancient gods, remember, the Makers do not believe in gods, because that's plural. They do, however, believe in the Father figure. Similarly, the Doomslayer also doesn't believe in gods. So now we're only left with the people of Argent D'Nur, who at one point in their history actually did believe in gods. And they were the Elemental Wraiths. If you wish to learn the history of the Elemental Wraiths, you can find a link to my lore video in the description box below. But in summary, the Elemental Wraiths bestowed their near limitless energy, which we call Wraith energy or Sentinel energy, upon the people of Argent D'Nur, and in return they would worship them as their new gods. Not only that, the entire reason the Sentinel Order was created was for the protection of their new gods, but also to protect against them because they were known to be a little bit unpredictable, but those are just details. Now in Doom 2016, you actually go and help the Elemental Wraiths around the end of the game. Now the main question is whether they're alive or if they're dead. Well, they are in fact alive when you get there. They've just been tortured so much that they are an inch away from death. And in that weakened state, this allows the forces of hell to extract their energy or their soul far easily. And this actually makes sense, because the Wraiths cannot produce energy if they're dead. So you need to keep them alive. Now I want you to remember this concept of torturing to siphon their energy, because it is very similar to another power source which requires torture, and I'll talk about that a bit later on in the video. Now in order to help the Elemental Wraiths, you need to lay them to rest, and you do that by taking the demonic crucible and draining their entire life essence into it, their life essence being their souls, of course. You do this 2 more times for a total of 3 Wraiths. And this is kept pretty constant throughout the games. They've always ever shown 3 Wraiths, nothing more, nothing less. And that is important for the next part, because we're going to go deeper into this rabbit hole. So in Doom Eternal, we go to the Ark Complex and reacquire the demonic crucible from Samuel's facility. Then we take this powerful relic and use it to power the Fortress of Doom. So at this stage, the only known location of Wraith energy is within Doomslayer's possession. Now keep that in mind and don't forget. Now, Argent energy, a beautiful, limitless source of renewable energy. But how is it made? Well, we know from Doom Eternal that Argent energy is made up by combining Wraith energy with Hell's energy, or Hell's essence, which is basically the souls of mortals who have been tortured in Hell and their souls have been siphoned from their body. Does that sound familiar to you? Because that's the same thing the Wraiths were going through back in Doom 2016, when Hell was siphoning their power to keep the portal to Mars open. Now, what is the one location in all of Doom where Argent energy is produced in mass? Well, you guessed it.
Argent energy is made from the souls of Hell's victims. This is the factory where that takes place. Necrolol, the city of the damned.
Samuel himself explains how Argent energy is made and what this limitless power is capable of. Have a listen.
The demons only utilize a portion of the resources that come from the human soul. It was the Makers and the Sentinel Priests who discovered and unlocked the true power of the essence. They combined Sentinel and Hell energies together, refined it, and created Argent. With it, they saved worlds from extinction, healed the sick, and gave infinite power to those worthy of it.
That's all well and good, but it is never explained where they're getting the Wraith energy from, because the only Wraiths we know of are dead, and the only known source of Wraith energy is powering up the Fortress of Doom. Unless there were more than 3 Wraiths. Or, if the makers took the corpses of the Wraiths from Kadingir's Sanctum in Doom 2016 and stored them somewhere else. They maybe must have used Argent energy to keep them in a state of undeath. Maybe. We'll never know. It is never explained where they're getting the Wraith energy from, but I hope the DLC explains it. Now, what I think is going to happen in this DLC is that we're going to take the demonic crucible with us to where the corpses of the Wraiths are, and we're going to resurrect them and have them fight for us. And this actually goes very well with what the Seraphim says in the trailer. He says, "We work to resurrect the only ones who can save this world. You are given the honor to serve the gods yet again." But here's something that might be more interesting. If we can resurrect the Wraiths, then surely we could resurrect the loyal Sentinel warriors we encounter in Doom 2016 that gave their lives to protect the Wraiths while still being loyal to the Slayer. If you notice closely, these Sentinels are the only ones in the game that bear the mark of the Slayer upon their armor. And if you compare that to the Sentinels in Doom Eternal, you won't see any mark. How awesome would it be to take an entire army of Sentinel warriors and go to the heart of hell to fight against the Dark Lord or maybe his 6 lieutenants? That would be pretty amazing, but remember, this is all a theory. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this theory video, and I'll see you in the next one.